Most contractors know how expensive one accident can be on a job site. But what many don't realize is how devastating the financial aftermath can be for their employees and their families. Today's guest is talking about a simple, affordable way contractors can help protect their crews without adding major overhead.
No more burnout, no more fear. We'll build it strong, make it clear. Not just a grind, but a dream that's true. Building a business that works for you.
Contractors, if you've noticed just a few calls, fewer quotes and requests, or maybe lower quality to leads lately, pay attention. Pay attention. The way people search online has changed fast because of AI, and many businesses are no longer even showing up where they used to. If you want to know whether or not your business is visible in these new AI-driven searches, go to dnd-business-systems.com and book a free visibility review. We'll show you where you stand, what's missing, and how to improve it. Welcome back to the Builder's Edge. We're here this is where we help contractors build stronger businesses, stronger teams, and stronger lives. A lot of contractors today don't really have a lead problem. They have a people problem. Finding good workers is hard enough, but keeping them, protecting them, and making sure they're supported when life happens is where things really start to break down. Because when an employee gets hurt, whether it's on the job or off the job, really, it doesn't just affect them, it affects your schedule, your deadlines, your reputation, and your ability to keep work moving. Today's guest is Yvette Kahn, and she works with contractors and business owners to help close some of those gaps, giving them a simple way to better support and protect their teams without adding a heavy burden to the payroll. Yvette, welcome to the Builder's Edge.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. I'm excited to learn more about what we can do to help people.
I agree. When I first learned about your process and stuff and what you have, I didn't realize that, what a nice little additive. I thought this was an alternative. So let's dive right in. How did you get involved with helping businesses with this costly problem?
Well, really, the reason I kind of connected and did this specific business, which is Aflac, is because a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of out-of-pocket costs that are not covered by health insurance. Yeah, and a lot of employees, they struggle when they do have an issue that comes up if they're not using their workers' comp. And without that, they have a lot of more issues where they have to pay a lot of high bills and it doesn't get covered by health insurance. So I was like, this is a great way to help business owners and employees to protect both sides.
That's good. That's a good point. So sometimes maybe, that you're not able really to offer your worker like a full, medical compensation. And let's say they didn't get hurt on the job, but it still ends up affecting your job. But this can kind of help cover those little accident costs as well. Well, what do you enjoy most about working with contractors and business owners?
I just love being able to first obviously learn more about their business and then just being able to find what's going to really make their business grow faster. And a lot of the products that we offer are things that can lower the workers' comp, increase their employee retention, and attract key employees, which I think a lot of contractors struggle with.
Whoa, back up. Did I hear you say lower workers' comp cost? Oh my gosh. That's what practically puts so many of us out of business. How do you do that?
Well, the cool thing about Aflac is what it does is it gives you a supplemental insurance. What supplemental insurance is it's like a gap insurance. So whatever health insurance doesn't cover, Aflac will cover, and it'll actually pay the employee directly into their bank. So it's kind of like you don't have to worry. Once you have a plan, you're taken care of. That if something were to happen, they're more likely to use Aflac than to use workers' comp, because workers' comp is a huge process.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'll literally pay them within 2 to 3 business days. They'll have it in their bank account. So why wouldn't they use Aflac over at workers' comp? So their workers' comp costs were going to drop down because of that.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so if you have them using their workers' comp, then your workers' comp will go up too, or could go up too. Most likely will.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I see. Okay, great. So lots of savings there.
Yeah.
So what defines a supplemental accident insurance? What
I think
exactly is that?
so. Basically, supplemental accident insurance, all the plans really are a way for you to get covered without having to use your health insurance or those other things because health insurance doesn't cover your out of pocket expenses. So, as long as you have an accident plan, for example, I had somebody that literally was going down the street and they tripped and fell, and then they had twisted and broken their ankle. Now they had to go into the urgent care. They had all these out of pocket expenses that were not covered by their health insurance. So, what they did was
Wow.
they used their Aflac plan, and Aflac just gave them money. Like, here you go. Here's a check for $500, or here's a check for whatever the doctor's bill comes out to. They take a picture of it on their phone, and here you go. In a couple of days, they have money in their bank account that they can actually pay for things. And a lot of people don't have extra disposable income. So, this is where it comes in and helps them a lot.
Okay. So Aflac pays 100%. Is that what you're saying?
For the most part, yeah. As long as they have the doctor's bill, they take a picture of it, send it into Aflac. Aflac will say, "Hey, this is what you're covered. You have a plan for maybe 5,000. Let's just use that as an example. This is going to be worth, a couple $100 or $200 or five, whatever the cost may be. They'll look at it and say, "Here's the money," and they just send it directly into their bank account,
Wow. That's
or
good.
a check if you want, if you prefer that.
Snail mail check. Is there
Yeah,
anybody out there still getting this? There might be one or two.
yeah.
Anyway, but that's nice that that's so quick. Usually you have to wait so long and then everything else is affected. Okay, so that's one way that it differs from regular health insurance. What's some other ways?
Some other ways would be really just making sure, like we have a lot of different plans. The typical ones, the most popular ones, I guess we would say would be accident. We have a cancer plan, which is really helpful for people that might have that kind of issues in their family. If not, it's still a great plan because it actually pays them back every time they go in to get seen. So this is another way they can utilize their plan. Like when you have health insurance, you don't get paid on having health insurance. You pay health insurance, right? But with
Right.
Aflac, we actually will give you money back. So say you go in your yearly visit for, I'm just giving you an example of the cancer,
Uh-huh.
you'll get paid $75 back just for going. So that alone pays for the plan. And now if something were to happen, you're really protected. I had another client that basically they did have cancer and they got the initial diagnosis. They basically got $500 back just for getting diagnosed. So they got money right there. And then they were getting paid for all the other things that, you don't even think about. And it protects them when they're in a situation where they don't have time to think about it. So this is really
Wow.
helpful for any employee that doesn't have, a great plan if for one. And if they do have a great plan, it just supplements it and gives them better. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just accident
Yeah.
insurance. We're talking about everything. Okay, so I know it's hard to, is it as wide range on the cost, or can you give us a ballpark figure on accident and maybe a cancer type?
Yeah. So like we can just do a range, but like for accident, that's the other thing I just should have mentioned already. Aflac plans are very low cost and they're very affordable. So for example, an accident plan would maybe be like $25 a month, which is like two
Oh,
Starbuckses, which is nothing. And it
that's
comes out of
enough. Yeah. Yeah.
the way we
Nothing.
do it is we basically have it directly taken out of their paycheck. So it comes out. There's lots of different ways to do it, but basically it comes out whatever plans they choose. So accident, cancer, critical care, that's another one that we have that's like, heart attack, stroke, those kinds of things. But those plans will go into effect if something were to happen. If nothing happens, great. What I always say, it's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. So that's the way I look at Aflac is like, it's better to have it and you don't need it. Then
Yeah. You definitely you don't think you need it until you do. And
exactly.
then you really, really need it.
Yeah.
So let's say a cancer policy or I don't know. Do you even call them policies? What do you call them?
Yeah, cancer plan, cancer policy. A typical plan for that. It totally depends on your age and your health issues and things like that.
Okay.
But it's around $40-50. Let's just say approximately. But they kind of range. We figure out a quote for them and we'll give them what the pricing is. But really, it's very affordable prices for everything. All the plans are very affordable. And the reason we did it was because we wanted to be able to help people when they were in a time of need and they had nowhere to look. That's why Aflac was created. And I'll give you a quick funny story about Aflac. I'm not sure if you're
Uh-huh.
familiar, but you know how everybody says Aflac, the duck?
Oh, yeah. Love it.
When the owners or the founders first created the company, they were sitting in the park like, how in the world are we going to market this business? Because it's called American Financial. It's like this whole long name. And they're like, no one's going to want to sign up to this. They're sitting in the park and this duck goes by and starts walking. And it's like, it's like, what? It's quacking. And they're like, Aflac. And then that's kind of how it started, because it's like they hear the
Wow.
like clacking. So that's how it kind of got started. But yeah, the whole point, the reason they wanted to help people was because a lot of people didn't have this. They have health insurance, and that's all their options were. So if they didn't have enough money in their bank account, too bad. You're out of it. You're out of, options. Or you go to the employer and maybe they can give you some money.
Yeah. Or one accident or one run to the ER now ruins your credit, like it's either you have it all the money to pay it, or, you just try to keep it from messing your credit up. People are stuck. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the gaps. And thanks for covering that. And, we don't really realize that we have options. So this is great to know that we have options.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that people don't realize they need it because they're not really aware of it. And that's kind of what made me kind of get into this whole business in the first place, is because when I found out what it does, I was like, this is going to help so many families all over America, because right now everybody's struggling, obviously, paycheck to paycheck. Most people don't have $1,000 in savings to spend on a
Right.
medical bill. So when you have Aflac, which is like what, $20 a month, $25 a month, and you have that and something was to happen, you have that extra money just straight into your bank account. You're like, wow, it helped me so much. I'll tell you
Right.
one other story. I had one of my colleagues, he went to the gym, hurt his ACL, and he went to the ER, and it turns out if he hadn't gotten seen, he had a blood clot. So it was this huge thing that he would have to pay thousands of dollars, but because he had multiple different plans, he had I believe he had a critical care plan, he had an accident plan, he had a bunch of different plans. They all worked simultaneously, so it doesn't matter. You can use more than one plan. They gave him back close to 60 grand of paying his bills.
Wow.
He was the only income earner of their family. So over 6 months, he wasn't working, and he made over 60 grand from Aflac, just giving him money for all of his plans.
Oh, wow. That's nice. That's a business who's making a difference.
Yeah.
My mother had an ablation the other day, just an ablation. They don't even put you to sleep for that anymore. And I think the bill came back $125,000 for just an ablation. I know. Yeah. These little, you think it's small, but my goodness, the bills are ridiculous. Okay. Why do contractors and trades businesses especially need to pay attention to this, what we're talking about today?
Well, they absolutely need to pay attention because they're in higher risk professions. So a lot of companies, like contractors, construction, all of those types of businesses, they need Aflac because there's more chances of them getting injured on the job. Now, if you have an on-the-job accident plan, that's one of the plans we offer. It will cover them while they're on the job and also off the job. Both times they're getting covered, and whatever the scenario is. So it protects the employer from having to have super high workers' comp because maybe they got hurt on Sunday and they come in on Monday and say, I got hurt at work, and they didn't really. Not saying that everybody does that, but a lot of people do. So that's one option. So it protects the employer, and then the employee is like protected because now they have extra money coming in when they don't have to worry about it.
That's good. Yeah, that is good I never thought of that it covers while on the job and off the job. So that's nice. And as contractors, we're thinking that not only are we physical on the job, but, we need to be able to be physical on the job the next day. So if something happens, it not only affects us that day, but it completely until the injury is completely over, Now, this insurance, if you pay for let's say they do break a ankle, arm, whatever, and you pay for that visit. Now, is there anything that you pay for them while they're off work or anything like that as well from Aflac?
Yeah, so we do have short-term disability plans too. So if the employer decides to offer that, they also can have that choice too, where it'll actually cover some of their pay. It totally depends on what the person decides they want to do. But we have that, and that helps a lot, especially if you're out of work for several weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, so it just depends. Most businesses in that field and contracting and all that, they typically do get that because depending on your state. California, we offer a little bit higher of a disability insurance, but not all states do. So it's really good to have that, and we offer that plan as well, just for
About what does that plan run?
I wouldn't be able to give you a number because it's totally based on how much they're making, and then the amount is based on that. So it could be a couple hundred. It could be depending on their age range and their job specifically paying.
Yeah. So you say it could be a couple hundred?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Cause like, let's just say if they're making like 100 grand, then it would be like a percentage of that. So I wouldn't know exactly the numbers, but
Right.
what we would do is if someone was interested in that, we would run the numbers, we give them a quote. It's different for every business and different.
Yeah. But even if you think about it, at $225 per, to offer that
Yeah.
for an employee to know that you have got their back and that, they've got, it seems like me as an employer that I'm more invested in my employees, not just, thinking that, they'll come and go and I don't care and all that kind of stuff. So good culture there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are contractors usually shocked the most to learn about your business and what you offer?
I think most of them are really shocked that it even exists because they usually have to just pay really high workers' comp costs depending on the field. If it's a very high risk position, it's going to be higher, right? So
Right.
when they find out that they have this option where it can lower the workers' comp big time and they don't have to pay, and there's two other options they can do. The employer can pay everything for the employee, or the employee can pay for it, and they just are offering it. So there's two ways to do it. There's a defined
Okay, good
contribution.
point.
The employer will actually get payroll taxes or lower their payroll taxes for offering that benefit. Or if the employer's like, you know what, I don't know if I have the budget to pay for all my employees right now. So I'm just
Right.
going to offer it. And then they can decide for themselves if they want to get it or not. So it's a win-win either way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I thought. Win-win either way.
Yeah.
You're showing that you care enough to either offer it or offer that they can get it, because I'm sure most of the contractors out there working for their boss don't know that they have an option to do this on their own either.
Yeah. And a lot of people, when they find out about this, they get really excited and they're like, I really want to get this. This is too good to be true. They almost think it's too good to be true because it's so affordable.
Yes. I couldn't believe the numbers when you were telling me
Yeah.
beforehand either.
I
Yeah.
guess it's like 2 hours of like your pay per week. So it's very low. It's like, I mean, if you're depending on how much you're making, it's very low. If nothing
Yeah.
else, $6 a week or something. Just nothing.
That is nothing. Yeah. Okay, contractors are always talking about how hard it is to keep good employees. Let me tell you, people stay where they feel valued and protected, no doubt. This shows value. Do you think offering benefits helps companies' culture?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've heard so many stories of people that would go from one position, it's exact same pay, but the other company's offering these benefits and they're not, they'll go to the other company. So it'll make you more attractive and give you better employees because they'd rather work for you versus somebody else because you're offering the benefits. It's the same pay, but you're offering these benefits. They feel protected and they're like, okay, these people actually care about me. So they're more likely to want to not only keep their job, you'll be able to bring better employees over too because be happy with that.
Yes. And then to, maybe they want to like split the cost. Maybe, if my employee, is giving some to this and then I'm giving some to this, maybe it's a kind of more of a partnership on the pieces as well.
We've had times where the employer would actually put in like $100 per person for a plan. Let's just say that's an example. And then if the employee wants to get additional stuff, they pay for it themselves. So you can even do like a hybrid version of that too.
Okay. Let's talk about our small contractors. Do you think they're like too small for benefits?
Really, the smallest group size that we can work with is 3 employees. If you at least have 3 employees, you can get Aflac. It's that easy.
That's pretty easy. You can't hardly go to the job site and get anything done without a few of you at least.
Yeah, I would assume you'd at least have 3 employees. So if you do, then you can totally get it.
Okay, great. Okay. There's got to be a mindset shift switch here. What shift do you think business owners need to make about protecting their teams to get in this space?
I'd say the mindset shift is really that not looking at types of insurance like this as insurance and whenever you ask somebody at a company, hey, would you want some insurance? No, I don't want more insurance. Insurance is horrible. It's so expensive. But what they don't realize is this type of insurance, which is supplemental, is actually helping them in their business to grow it faster because not only are they going to get better employees, they're going to stay and they're protecting their employees. So if something were to happen, they are not out of work or asking the employer for, hey, can I get $10,000 or whatever they need to get. So not only does it help the employer, it's helping the employees. So it's really just about understanding that this is something that's going to benefit your business, not necessarily make it more difficult because, now I have to offer another insurance. It's not another insurance. It's something to protect you and make sure that your employees are protected.
Right. Yes. And the one can exist without the other. Okay, Yvette, where can our listeners get more information and work with you to provide this valuable asset to their business and their employees?
Well, really, they can just book a call with me and we'll do a quick assessment and understand what their business is and what they're looking to do, and we'll go from there. So they really just have to set up a call.
Okay. And I'll put your link to your calendar in my show notes. So you guys go to the show notes. And if you, for some reason, don't find it, just reach out to us and we'll get it back to you for sure. Okay. Anything else that maybe I didn't ask that you want to cover?
Yeah. Well, you asked a lot of great questions. I really appreciate your time on this podcast. This is amazing.
Appreciate you.
I would really think that you've already kind of covered it, but I would just tell people, don't look at, supplemental insurance as another insurance, like I mentioned earlier. Look at it as a way to grow your business and protect your business so that if that is the case, if something were to happen, you know that your employees are good and you're good and you don't have to worry about anything in the future. It protects you for the long term. So that's the way I would end it with.
Yeah, when I'm thinking of your ideal client here, I'm thinking of the one who has a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
Those businesses maybe where, painting companies or maybe moving companies have got people turning over left and right and and a lot of options for these people who do these type of things. So I think, it'd be a great way for them to retain. So some of those big turnover companies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big plus for businesses like that. You help with your employee retention for sure.
Yeah. Okay, contractors, don't let conversations like this just become background noise. The reality is protecting your team protects your business. Fact. And most of the time, you don't realize that there's a gap in protection until it's too late, until someone gets hurt, misses work, and suddenly the stress hits them and your operation at the same time. Just like car insurance, you don't think about it every day, but you're grateful you had it when something happens. So here's your next steps. Take 10 minutes this week and do a simple crew protection checklist. Ask yourself, if one of my guys got hurt today, would they be financially okay? Would they be able to handle missed time or unexpected costs? And would it affect my ability to keep the job on schedule? If you answer yes to any of those questions, or maybe you feel uncertain, that's your signal to look into what options exist to close that gap. Book an appointment with Yvette. And if you want help understanding what that looks like in real time, your team, you can connect with her on her calendar, book a time, and have that conversation. If today's episode helped you think differently about leadership, employee retention, or protecting the people who helped you build your company, make sure you subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share this episode with another contractor who needs to hear it. And remember, this is more than a podcast. This is your platform. Your voice does matter, and your story has the power to impact others. We'll see you next time on The Builder's Edge.